Good afternoon, everybody, on Instagram, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and here on Noboy. Welcome to all my friends. I am Dr. Rao Kulusu. As you know, I'm a retired internal medicine physician and now a CEO and Chief Wellness Officer of an online wellness company, which is BAPAL. So after practicing such a long time, 40 some years, I kind of want to promote wellness rather than just treating illnesses. Which is no problem, we can treat them, but I would like to catch people before they get ill. You know, that is my passion these days. That's why I started a movement called Being Proactively Well, Proactive Wellness, right? So in this, we kind of take care of our lifestyles better and more aware of what's going on with the lifestyles. What kind of lifestyles we have anyway? How are they influencing my wellness and health? How my energy, how my vitality, how is my joyful existence and all that. Okay, everything comes into place. It's not just absence of disease, but it's having that vital energy and vitality in everything that we do. Okay, this was inspired by the yogis I follow. When you look at the yogic culture way back, not in right now, but way back, they had a depth of yoga, and then they lived for a long time. Average lifespan was 125, and they lived well even after century. 109-year-old, even now, a yogi who is really following yogi principles, he is very vital, very alert in his mind, very energetic, and really can do a lot of stuff. He walks by himself, and he doesn't use any cane or anything like that. So I was fascinated by their lifestyles. And then I wanted to understand what is that they did that we could emulate now, and we could really understand. Okay, how can we incorporate those principles? Basically, very simple. They walked a lot because they preferred to walk. They may have horses, they may have other things, but then they were going from village to village. Some people walked from the tip of the Himalayas all the way to the southern tip of Kanyakumari. Not one time, 3 or 4 times. Okay, so in their lifetime. So they walked a lot. That's number one place. That means keeping the body moving, right? And they kept their mind silent until they were kind of looking at what is in front of them and acting on that. But otherwise, they would not allow mind to go all over, right? They are present moment people, right? And then they had carried with them a small vessel where they carried some water. So they sipped on the water through the day. So they kept themselves hydrated. And they did the deep breathing quite a while in a day. So consciously breathing deeper, and that is the key, I think, for their general health. So keep the body moving, keep your mind silent, use it only when you need it. Otherwise, just be aware, alert, awake, but not indulged, not lost in thought. You can use thought to bring the lessons of the past. That's fine. You can plan for the future, but while you are implementing that plan, be here and now and in the process. And drink water a lot, and then eat only when you are hungry, and sleep when you are sleepy, right? Those kind of simple principles, and very much reverence to the nature, and very much understanding by their own experience how their mind is, how their body is, how their energy is, that kind of thing. So self study, self awareness, self knowledge, those things were important. Not pointing out somebody else, but what's happening with me? Why am I drinking alcohol? Why am I drinking other noxious substances? Why I'm taking some smoking or drugs and all that, right? So once you understand the natural way is the best way to come back to the natural stuff is what we should do in the modern time. Otherwise, modern working conditions, modern orientation towards pleasure and entertainment, they're kind of taking us away from moving our body all the time and keeping our mind silent all the time and using it only when we need it. And we kind of shallow breathing and not really drinking enough water. All these things are there, and the habits and all that. So modern life of running fast, doing stuff all the time, but not taking a break, not reflecting on what's going on with our wellness, that has been our problem. So I, as a modern physician, I see a lot of problems, right? But a lot of people come because they are stressed out with the modern life, or they're kind of really burnt out, right? That's the end of it. But what I want to start in the beginning, how can you be proactive about your own wellness? How can you be proactive about eating good stuff only when you're hungry? How about moving your body in a functional status? You may not have to have a gym or studio. If you have them, that's fine. If you don't have them, just don't sit down and watch movies or lie down and stay there for a long time. Just to move during the day. So, lift stuff and do some chores and take stays, walk on the corridors, and go to the grocery shop, which is close by. Just walk instead of taking the car. So things like that. Okay. So bringing back our awareness to these proactive things that we could do in our lifestyles can save you a lot, right? That's what I'm helping people with. Stressed out people, burnt out people, and the people who have many illnesses based on their lifestyles. Infection, cancer, things, genetic, they're okay. They're different, breed out here. But many of the metabolic illnesses, diabetes, hypercholesteremia, related heart disease, hypertension, smoking problems, COPD, cancer. So many things are related to our lifestyles. Okay, how can you live normally without really having somebody tell you every day is the key. Is just follow your inner rhythms, cardinal rhythms. How many people do follow that? So I want to bring to their notice, come back to the nature, come back to your natural rhythms within your own body, mind, and then go beyond it. Okay. So the services that I kind of provide are all based on that inner alignment to our inner rhythms, right? So lots of people are so lost in their work, they don't have time for themselves. It's not selfish to really stop by and then being responsible about your own health and wellness. Okay. So I kind of enjoy people who are really paying attention to their wellness and then being proactive about it. They get up in the morning, do the work, and keep their mind one point focused, like a one task at a time, and they enjoy whatever they are doing. They offer it like a service, and they kind of eat when they're really hungry, and then they're tired. They come home and then reflect and then really put their mind and body in order, and then not waste their time in this stupid, unnecessary entertainment all the time, and really understand the deeper issues by turning inward and reflecting and all that. You don't have to call it this is a yogic lifestyle or it's a commonsensical lifestyle. And the more you're closer to the nature, the better it is, right? You can discover innumerable treasures from the nature. the sights, the sounds, the the fantastic fruits and vegetables, all those things come to us, right? So pay attention to that, simple things like that. Okay? It's very, very difficult to be simple these days because we are so complicated with all of them. That's the difference. Ancient people were simple in living, in their habits of living, and they have very inner, rich thinking about existential issues. We talk a lot. We kind of, say a lot of things, but we don't really understand what is what when you really go deep into it. They can't even listen to you if you're really depth oriented, somebody who wants to bring in major issues of life into not your opinion, not your statements, but provoking the inner quest, provoking, really posing important questions that will actually science develops like that, right? They developed inner sciences, ancient, we developed outer sciences. It's a combination of both science and spirituality is what fascinates me. And I found a lot of answers for my own life, for my, uh, living in wellness for a long time and then also enjoy. That's what I am enjoying as a 70-year-old man, but also I'm sharing it as a physician, as a yogi, as an informatician. So many roles I had, so many things I did. So from that experience, I want to keep on learning, but at the same time, share. And then especially when people approach me in sorrow, in suffering. Okay. Somebody dies, then they call me. Somebody has a broken relationship, they call me. Somebody's health is so bad that they were not able to get help from their doctors or other people, then they call me. And or they ask me just the guidance how to go about approaching any illness that they fall upon. Okay, so many ways. Okay, but the important thing is what is the ancient secret and that we don't know is they turned their mind inward, antarmukha, they call it. And then they searched the truths in their inner chamber of rooms called Chidambara. Chit means the mind, Ambara means room. In their inner recess, they found what they called Sat Chit Anand, existence, existent consciousness that is blissful. The bliss, the happiness, and the peace they found within their own mind, not allowing the mind to go wherever it wants to go, but sitting down, closing your eyes, and reflecting on what's going on in the mind and heart of ours, and how it was influenced by our modern society, civilization, and all that. Not everything is bad, but this unawareness, this um, involved in a constant thought, that may not be good for us. I enjoy peace and quiet and blissfulness when I engage in this what's called samadhi. That means stillness of thought, and you let your real self come out. That is the self, that's in there in everybody. Ancient defined as the divine spirit, divine energy, divine life that is there within each of us. That is the indweller. That's always there, eternally there, but it changes clothes of body and mind every so often. That was how the truth was taught to people, so people were not afraid of inevitable death of the body and mind. And that's why they were able to really understand it and accept it peacefully and pass away peacefully too. And people who left, also left, and the people who were left behind, they were crying for them. And that's why there's so much suffering when somebody dies. People suffer because they miss them. They feel like they lost them, but they also feel guilty. They have not done enough for them when they are living. right? So observing, understanding, and really going to the depth of ancient life changed my life. I kind of don't want to be religious or say that you have to, accept this particular way, but understanding, just to be energetic, just to be joyful, just to be friendly and accepting other human beings is something we can all do, right? So I'm in service of those people who have questions, who are questioning, who are reflecting, who have experiences that they would like to share in terms of how they can keep their wellness. I'm here to engage with them and to talk to them and to really help them if they need to. Uh, they need to. Okay. So I am developing a podcast that will be done every day in the morning, uh, so that we can promote this proactive wellness. We want to make it a movement, not only here, all over the world, so that people understand we don't have to necessarily automatically get sick, or we don't have to be so unaware of what's going on in our bodies, in our environments, in our lifestyles, that we are surprised when we are really infected with a metabolic disorder. I call them diseases of civilization. You don't eat properly, and then you develop related illnesses. Chief is diabetes mellitus, right? You don't rest, you don't know how to handle your mind, and you also become anxious, hypertensive, things like that. Then you learn how to relax, how to really understand your mind, its operations, and then learn about it. Okay. So your eating, your lack of exercise, your not able to breathe properly, and your ability not to go to sleep because you are engaged your mind in so many activities after fall of the sun, and then you kind of watch movies or do whatever that you do till midnight, that you cannot fall asleep, then you are interfering with your circadian rhythm. So learn how to calm down, get everything down so that you can sleep into a natural sleep, and then you are invigorated because your sleep acts as an antitoxin, right? Because it detoxifies your brain, your liver, your kidneys, and all that, right? So that's why we need very good sleep. Improve the quality and let the body do its job. And then we also really understand how to use thought effectively, not against you. Okay. So are you doing them? That's well and good. You know, do you have questions about it? That how do you observe your own self? How do you understand how you are living? What are your lifestyles? Do you stop and reflect on them, or do you only respond when you have a pain or some discomfort happens? Then you go to the doctor. So what I am saying is, go to the doctor if you need. That's fine, but understand if there are any root causes that are causing your discomfort. Understand and transform yourself from that behavior to a you know wise behavior that will be helpful for you to live better, live longer, and live in joy and not in misery. Not see people, they just exist. They don't have any meaning or any purpose in life. They're run by the chemicals, including the medical drugs. Many of the nursing home patients, if you go and see, they are given a lot of medications. So they're basically run by the medication. They don't have any pep. They don't have any energy. They don't have any joy. They just exist in the bed or the chair. And a lot of people don't even participate in the activities. And then they don't have any meaning because they feel like they don't have anything to contribute. They don't have purpose in life. Okay. So that is very sad to see. I always told, whenever I go to a nursing home to see the patient, I feel very sad for them. I try to enliven their life by pets, by plants, by getting some devices, even making them play on online games or things like that. That are appropriate for them. You could do that. Okay, a lot. Okay, so you understand that, and then you will be well off, rectifying a lot of things for you. And basically, I want people to be in charge of their health and wellness. Okay, so if you can, a lot of people don't pay enough time and attention to their wellness. And women, they bring their spouses, their in-laws, fathers, so many people to the doctor's office, but they think if they spend 45 minutes a day on their own health and wellness, they feel guilty. So I always told them, no, 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 that's our first responsibility to yourself. And then take care of yourself better, then you'll be able to take care of other people better. So you will be surprised. Any number of educated executive women, they don't pay enough attention for their own problem. They get anxious, stressed out at work, they start to take wine. They think that will, submerge all their unhappiness or, whatever they're feeling negative about life, right? One glass of wine leads to 2 glasses. Very soon they'll be drinking 4 glasses of wine. And that is the problem. What I am suggesting is, don't drink, don't use something like a crutch, but pay attention to yourself. Take some time and evaluate and go into it. Talk to the experts and get to the bottom of what are the roots of illnesses that we are having. What are the things that I cannot help? Like genetically, something came to you, you cannot help. Environmental pollution does a lot of things. And you yourself, with your own mind and body, can do things for yourself that will cause problems for you, right? So now, do people don't know this? Yeah, but how many people are doing it? See, when they come to me, I always address to whatever the pain, whatever suffering they have. But then I also lead them into paying attention to their lifestyles, to the problems that people will sell. So that kind of attention to one's own self is what I am after. Take responsibility, be self-responsible, and then really pay attention to lifestyles and look for all the sources of information, resources that we all have from ancient times till now, scientific evidence, and then just to change. You may understand, maybe your family didn't teach you about proper nutrition. Maybe your work conditions are promoting, sedentary activity. Maybe social media, everything is making your mind run. Maybe the same social media and occupation at night time is not you to go to sleep properly. And these have to be actively pursued and changed. And then, if you're serious about your wellness in the long run. But if you say, oh, I'm going to work, I'm going to continually run, I'm going to think continuously, that is the modern way of spoiling your health and wellness. Okay? So you get it, what I'm talking about. But what you don't get it is modern life is not all that correct to be. So return back to nature. Use the modern life the way a smart person will use. I use technology, but the technology is only a tool. I don't get addicted to this. And also, I can put away these devices the moment I am done the daytime activities, and I can put it away and then reflect and calm my mind and go into that antarmukha, turn inward, and go to the inner chamber in your mind and intuitively grasp what is going on there. And then stay in that Sat Chit Anand, existence, consciousness, and bliss. That blissful being, if you are landed up in that, try to be there as much as possible. Don't allow this unconscious, routine, automatic thinking, cyclical thinking. That's pretty damaging. Modern life promotes that. See this, hear this, read this. You are not happy unless you do this. Shop this, get more stuff. And but never giving you get to be well. If you do these things, you will not be well. They will not tell you because the restaurants will lose money, theaters will lose money, and all the people who are clamoring for your attention on the social media and internet as a whole, they won't get their money. So they want that money. They don't care about your health and wellness. We all know that. But how many people fall for that? That is something, a question that you got to ask yourself. If you say, you're going to say, oh, nothing, I'm already okay. Then when the mind becomes mechanical, anxious, or depressed, or when the mind doesn't work very well, then the problem. Okay. So you got to understand your mind is your instrument, very effective, very powerful, but you got to have it in your own control, right? Your body is also your instrument. You got to maintain it. Ancient wisdom told us a very beautiful story comparing our own human organism to a chariot driven by horses. In that, there is a passenger, there is a driver. The body of the chariot is our physical body. So you got to maintain it so that it can travel long, it can stay long. So taking care of the body, body's energy, body's flexibility, body's strength, all these are important. Pay attention to that. Body has intelligence. It will tell you when it is not good. So listen to it. Don't override it. If it tells you my back is hurting, maybe you're sitting badly, or maybe you are not doing enough by walking and all that. Okay, you can correct that. Or you can go and check it out with the doctor, see whether you have a sciatica or nerve problem or bone problem, whatever. Once you are clear that you don't have a physical, maybe it is the only exercises and the way you sit prolonged time is the problem. Then fix it. Okay. So chariot body is the physical body. Then what are the horses who are driving us? They are our senses. So if you allow the senses to go wherever they want to go, that is the problem with the Western life. They think sensory indulgence is happiness, is really pleasure, and that is the important thing. But the yogic science shows you they can be uh, problematic if you allow them wherever they want. You want to control them so that they don't disturb your path of wherever you are going, right? So that's why a system of marriage and then controlling all the senses not to get indulged, but then creative things, right? A person writing a poem is much better than he goes and listens to a lot of entertainment, right? They call that uparati. Rati means indulgence in the senses. But stay away from that if you want spiritual realization. Okay? And then those horses are controlled by the reins, right? What are the reins? Your mind. With the thoughts going in the proper direction, the mind controls the senses. Then who controls the mind? The reins are in the driver. Who is the driver? Your higher intellect, prefrontal cortex, right? And that kind of controls your wayward thoughts and all. Okay. Then who is the passenger? Your inner being. Your inner being that's going to go and really understand is part of the cosmic consciousness, universal consciousness. That is yoga. Understanding we are part of the universal consciousness, and that is our real indweller. That is us, not the body, not the mind. Okay? Body of chariot, driven by senses, but controlled by your positive thoughts, and that is controlled by your higher intellect, which the goal is to get your being to be identified or recognized that I'm part of the whole. Okay. So I thought that was beautiful. It was described thousands of years ago in Upanishads. Okay. So Upanishads is the highest part of the Vedas. Okay. They are the ancient uh, scriptures, like not scriptures, more like a, knowledge bodies. Okay. But even in India, how many people are following this knowledge path is doubtful. You know, they get angry with me when I point that out. But it's not about insulting them. It's not about uh, making fun of them. None of it. It's a tragedy. Such wisdom was passed on, and then that was not followed. Now people are more ritualistic, but not employing that knowledge in their life. In modern India, a lot of rituals, a lot of things go on. It's fun and frolic, but it's not going to transform your fundamental mind problems, body problems, or metabolic problems. You see, that's where I'm coming to connect all of that. Because what modern science gave me was about external things. What ancient wisdom gave me insight of what's happening within me. A combination of both science and spirituality seem to have a formula that we should be, applying as appropriate, and really make use of the knowledge that is with us, the wisdom that is with us from ages. Is continuing to go on, right? Even in the modern science, evidence-based medicine. Actually, I was involved in evidence-based medicine very early when we were developing EMRs, right? So, evidence-based medicine protocols I developed in EMR, electronic medical record in the hospitals. I have a master's in biomedical informatics, so my passion was electronic medical records, improving the patient care. And even then, it all comes down to uh, what are you responsible for your own lifestyles, and how could you fix that? Okay. So if you can understand, if you live properly, not being tempted by things, not being habituated by things, then you'll be better off. Okay. For me, one word that made difference was nature. Be natural. Understand nature. Develop relationship with the nature. Understand the nature within your own system, and go by the circadian rhythms. Have the control over that, not being driven by some compulsion, some outward market, proposal, the marketing proposals, right? They kind of want to draw you into bad behavior. Eat food all the time. Go to the fast foods, get it very quickly, and then consume it, whatever, whether you're hungry or not. Go on snacking. Go on drinking soda. All these are modern, for me, for the wellness, they are not good. It's as simple as that. Okay. But how come you don't realize they're mentally managed by other people? You are influenced by other people. How come you don't have the control over your own lifestyles? That's the question. Okay. If you have them, very good. Congratulate you. But what I see is many people who come to me in touch with the room or with the talk or with the webinars, whatever, they always don't have the awareness that they are under the influence of this propaganda, conditioning practice, right? What do you say? Anybody has agrees with me? You come up and tell me your experience on this. How do you identify problems of modern life? Are you working too much? Are you thinking too much? Are you anxious all the time? Do you have diseases of civilization, like I mentioned, diabetes, hypertension, smoking, alcohol, addiction to the drugs, or addiction to constant thinking? That is the biggest addiction as far as I am concerned. If you are addicted to thinking, and you are addicted to your own way of thinking by assuming whatever that is everything, and it cannot be built on, it cannot be questioned. Maybe you are believing things in a wrong way. For example, a Western man indulges in sensory pleasure, and uh, you say that may be not good for you in the long run. Then you say, what else is there to live for? You miss completely that inner joy, inner peace and happiness. That is the privilege of an intelligent human being. We have that naturally, but we don't pay attention to that, right? So calm your mind, turn inward, and see what the mind is doing inward. And then really touch that space, which is really staying within your inner chamber, and then experience that. That experiential living is important. Don't say things that are not there within you. But if you identify them, then you say, okay, this is really true. That is what the ancients did. We rely outward, joy, happiness, accumulations, and doing stuff and all that. They showed how to have a simpler outward life and having a very rich inward life. Anybody oriented that way, please be my guest and tell me how you attained that, how you, not even becoming, how you identified that is already there. Okay. That's why it's okay to use outward things for our comforts, for our protection, for our, that's okay. But then what are you doing with all the energy left, all the time left? Do you sit in the morning, at least for 5 minutes, and turn inward? Don't go by your senses, don't go by the objects that are tempting you. Shut your eyes and feel inward. Stay there for a few minutes, and eventually you will get to experience the stillness of thought, silence within. And once you are there, you will discover many things. That is the thing. Everything modern civilization thinks built on thought. But the ancient cultures already showed there is so much beyond thought. Unless you calm your mind, be still and know you are God. Remember that? That was the same thing that the ancients, way before Christianity, said in a nice way. Be still, and the divine within you reveals itself. That is the indweller. That is the life force. That is the Sat Chit Anand they talked about. They have names given. They have descriptive names. But an actual phenomena doesn't happen in words. Doesn't happen just because you said so. Have you recognized it? Have you realized it? You are not going to be becoming or striving for it. Just to realize, recognize what is already there. That once they discover, they want to have that manifested in an ethical manifestation of love, compassion, happiness, equanimity, and not dependent on things. Modern life is all about things. Build things outward. I may be miserable in acquiring them. I may be corrupt. I may be not really nice to people. So egotistical man, what he does, he climbs on the heads of the people underneath him and goes up towards what? And then at the end of the life or later on, he will find, oh, my life is so empty. Oh, I don't have fulfillment. I want more stuff. I want more money. Even the people like uh, Ford, when he built all the riches, when he built all the vehicles and announced money, he did not get peace of mind unless he became very charitable, right? So that's what happens. Okay. So anybody has any questions or any comments or anything you want to say? I don't seem to get any audience. I didn't get audience, but I don't seem to get many people to participate to tell me what do you think about it. If you think this is a hogwash, come and tell me. If you think this is something that you are doing, come and tell us, share with us. If you think you are really don't have any time for this nonsense, tell me, come and tell me that too. But I'm happy I do these things, and I kind of see so much of psychosomatic illness where their own minds influencing their physical illness getting much worse. A lot of people are like that, and they feel like they don't have any control over their mind. It will go all over. It will think for itself. Not really right. Thoughts happen to you. You are not happening to the thoughts. Okay. So who is that observing? Who is that witness? That is you, your inner being. Stay there and watch the thoughts and see they were networked for themselves. They were not going to cyclical thinking. Okay? All right. I've enough talking on one side. And if you guys are interested in this, call me and send me a direct message. Otherwise, I will say, I don't know why you all come and listen without participating. But thank you for coming and listening at least. But eventually, we want to see, are there any problems in our lifestyles within each one of us? Do we do anything about it? Or do we allow them to result in manifestation of disease? That's what I don't want to see. I want to see people in that vital energy, healthy and happy and well for a long time. And I do whatever I can do on a daily basis. That is my service. That's how I serve the humanity. So I'm going to start this proactive wellness movement around the world, and I'm going to start a podcast on that in the morning hours, probably at 9 o'clock. I'm thinking. So thank you, and I'll see you again whenever I have time.